The other way we can improve the cash flow is by buying commercial property. Residential property typically return 3 to 4% in income. At the moment, with the growth that we experienced post-COVID, we are looking at about 2.5 to 3.5% rental return. Whereas a commercial property returns about 6 to 8% and no outgoings. So that's another way how you can improve your cash flow. What all of this comes down to as brokers is policy. So in a low interest rate environment, it's all about which broker can give me a good interest rate. At the moment, if you want to buy a property, you need to find a broker who can find a way around policies and lenders to get your capacity, borrowing capacity higher so that you are able to purchase a property. So the job of a broker becomes even more important. So all the robo advice that we've been hearing about, all the online comparison tools that we have for mortgages become irrelevant in high interest rate environment. So broker is the one who can advise you and who can get you over the line. So coming down to the entire thing is a broker can provide you a service that no robo advice can do for you at the moment. It might change with the pace that AI is going at the moment. It might change, but at the moment, there is no tool as such which can find ways to improve your capacity. Going back to the first question, do I need to improve my capacity? Do I need to buy a property right now? As I started, Warren Buffett's thought or saying that get greedy when people are fearful. So in this part of the cycle, if you look at last 3 to 4 years, for a buyer, there was no chance of getting into the market. It was purely a seller's market. So if you were in the market, you would experience it yourself. If you weren't, you would have heard news about people who were going to auction where the property was advertised for 800,000. They went to auction and the property sold for 1.1 million. Yeah. So crazy things were happening. Perth was absolutely on fire. Brisbane was absolutely on fire. There was a time post-COVID when Victoria had a crazy growth, Melbourne had a crazy growth. So that was all sellers market. No real estate agent was entertaining buyers. At the moment, the cycle is turning and it's becoming a buyer's market. So, you know how we talked about rental yield, we talked about increasing the capacity. If you buy the property at right price, 1 million property that was advertised a year and a half ago, if you can get the same property at a 20% discount, all the numbers change in terms of the rental yield goes up, your holding costs go down, and you already have a built-in 20% growth that will happen as soon as the tide turns. Because people are not able to borrow as much, they are not able to get to the $1 million borrowing capacity. But if you can borrow, you will get the same property at a much better price. A property that's in a better location, you might be able to get it, which you couldn't have got 1.5 to 2 years ago. So there are benefits of buying in a buyer's market. And this is the time, this is the buyer's market. And you can dictate what terms. We use a sheet, simple app, where you put in the rental amount, what you are getting per week. You put in what are the outgoings for that property per week, per month, per year. And we tell you what is the lower end of the price, higher end, and the middle. So in today's environment, high interest rate environment, you can actually think of getting a property at the lower end. In the last year and a half, all you were getting was properties at the high end. And you can decide that, okay, the rent is this much, outgoing this much, but I want a rental yield of 5%. So the figure that I'm going to put as offer is going to be even lower than the low figure. So all these things are possible now, which wasn't possible in last 1.5 to 2 years. And you make money when you buy, not when you sell. So if you buy it at the right price, you've already made the money, which the market will always come and go past this figure. And there'll be a lot of equity in the property. So because of all these positives, this is the time to invest and buy a property. And all the issues that come alongside it, it's the broker's job to actually fix it and get you over the line.